If a script minifier came in and changed that to S and this to S and things like that, that would really mess this up because the dependency injection process would not work. AngularJS would say, I don't know what S is, and S would basically be undefined or null. Now we have two techniques here. This is pretty simple because we only have one parameter, but imagine I had, some others. I'll just put foo and bar here. Well, one technique is I could come right here and in quotes in this array, put scope, and then I would have to put foo, and then I would have to put bar, and then a comma, and then the object or function. So I'll go ahead and wrap that down. Now at the end of this, which is right here, I would need to end that array that we started. So you put an array of parameters, and then the very last thing will be the function that's supposed to take those. Now if these all got renamed to say S, F, and B, and this would all get renamed in here, it won't matter because Angular will actually inject things in based on these names. So even if the script minifier shrinks things down, which is its job, we'd still be okay. Now, that technique certainly works, and you can go with that. And a lot of people like to go with that approach. What I've been using is a different approach, and that is to come right below here and just say customers controller dot inject, and then assign that equal to the parameters. And so we could do foo, bar, like that. You may or may not like that approach. You might like this approach down here. It really doesn't matter as long as you deal with this appropriately. The only downside of this is that by using a variable here, I've now made it so this inject has to go under the variable. One trick you could do that would work with JavaScript if you wanted to move this up, because the problem is if this gets big, the order really matters here. And if you can't see these because you have to scroll a lot, it gets a little messy. So you technically could do this, and then I'll go back to, I don't usually do this, but if you just give this a function name, now above the function so that these match up really closely to where they're actually defined, now you could actually use these and define it this way, just using a standard function. So that's a few techniques you can do. I'm going to go back to my normal technique here, and I'll let you kind of choose what you like. Now we don't have foo and bar, so to make sure this still works, let's go ahead and take those out. Regardless of which approach you do, I think it makes sense to put a wrapper function and then have it self-invoked. That way anything in here gets pulled out of the global scope. And then if you like the inject, or if you like to put the different parameter names in the array right here, either approach works. But now at least you'll know the different options. This is typically what I like to go with. All right, so to wrap up, let's make sure this still works. And it looks like it does. Refresh for good measure. And all right, so we're off and running.